Yeah, these are aftermarket grills. Feels warmer in here already. If I stay in this bubble. Let's go by that window. We can talk about these two windows. This homeowner did get 3 quotes done from different window contractors.
Talk.
Talk?
Talk.
What would you like me to talk about?
Speak.
Speak. Woof woof.
Woof woof.
And then you have to get into this or get out of this little crevice somehow. So I gotta get out that window, squeeze my butt through here. So I can't squeeze my butt down. Doesn't really have the same effect when you don't have a battery. It's not the same. You Good morning. We are back again, this time in Renfrew, one of Calgary's older, beautiful communities. We got a lot of diverse homes here. So a lot of different interests and a huge range in age. We got lots of infills. This looks like an older home, but fairly well kept, and going to be replacing the windows at the porch to start today. And I couldn't help but notice a little bit of Christmas decor still out. So nice little nod to the last time we were out in the Santa hat. Yeah, these are aftermarket grills. Just style them on. You want to spruce up your windows. Just like pop these in and look at that. They're not even all that well fastened. Just hand unscrew that. It's just sitting in there. So considering we have this porch here that has, a good extension, this is 3.5 feet or so, there's actually a fair bit of water standing on this sill, which is going to be more, I think, from moisture moving out due to an unsealed window and getting kind of trapped here. And we're missing any type of paper or protective membrane at this sill level. So that's why, again, we're seeing that affect the actual wood structure here. So we want to get that treated and covered properly. This fine gentleman heard my complaints about us not having a membrane, immediately stepped into action here. We can see him putting this down, and we're gonna get this sill protected as we always do. Interesting feature on this home is the glass block. And big reason for this is proximity to a neighboring property. So these will be fire rated glass blocks that'll let you get glazing close to the property line, protects in case of fire. Fire happens inside, blows out a traditional window, and you have fire spread across the property here. These will help prevent that. So there's 3 windows on the neighbor's property here that all have a fire block as well. And then we got the glass block on this projecting cantilever. And there's another projecting cantilever behind us here that also has glass block in both of those windows. So important feature to understand why it's there, and make sure you replace it with something that's going to compare and serve the same functions. We can talk about these two windows, and they are very different. So we can see we have wood frame, traditional, this is 90s window on the left, and then brand new Ecoline window with the vinyl surround on the right, triple pane glazing. You can see a little bit of a different visual style as well. We got a nice big open clear picture at the top, and then at the bottom looks like we have a nice horizontal slider. So a little bit different. We're not impeded by these grills, but if we wanted to redesign the Ecoline window, we know where that goes, or we can ask them to add that as part of the manufacturing, whichever way you want to go. But important thing, it'll be nice to get this fresh new window in, see a much bigger, thicker frame. That's going to help insulate the surround and give us a lot of room to work with on the back for our spray foam to insulate that. We had a lovely interview with the homeowner, and they expressed the reasons they chose to go with Ecoline and get their windows replaced. They moved into this home about 5 years ago, and it was only in the first winter that they noticed a significant ice buildup on all of their windows. So that was the first sign that they knew they wanted to replace them. The next big thing is with rising energy costs and pricing, they've seen a big jump in their utility bills to the tune of $800 a month at times. And this is approximately this 1,400 square foot home. It does have a developed basement, so our foundation walls are all insulated and everything's taken care of from that side. But those prices are getting a little bit outrageous for just keeping warm in the winter. So that's what they're going to look to. Ecoline, they're replacing all the windows, all 3 doors, going to look for a significant improvement in thermal performance, reduce those heating costs, reduce those bills, and get back to, something that's more palatable and makes sense for heating a 1,400 square foot home. The other part of their decision-making process, this homeowner did get 3 quotes done from different window contractors, and Ecoline came in price-wise in the middle of the 3, but was still elected to take on the job because they found that they articulated the work that they were going to do the best. They made a clear description that not all of these windows are the same. They're not plug and play from the factory. They're all going to be custom from Ecoline. They're going to be sized, measured, and appropriately fitted to the property. And so it was through consulting with Ecoline and talking through them that they felt most confident and comfortable with them being the ones that they elected to replace all of the windows and doors on their home. Feels warmer in here already. If I stay in this bubble. Let's go by that window. We don't like that window. So we got a little bit of sun screening going on and privacy measure, but in this case, you can see this is just a film. It's been applied over top of this window. So with Ecoline, you're gonna have reflective coating on the outside. It's not gonna be visible to neighbors. Like, there is a window right here, so you can see, understanding if maybe you want some privacy or you wanna block some of the sunlight, that's gonna be designed into the windows and taken into consideration by the manufacturing process so that you don't necessarily need to add a film onto your windows. If you wanted something frosted for like purposes of the bathroom, where you do want more privacy, that's something that can be done at a manufacturing stage and not just a aftermarket screen that gets stuck to the window. Just found the biggest crevice that I can stick my hand in. This window hasn't been taken out yet. You can see bad insulation, but it's just very thin and all the way towards the inside of the frame. I'm not touching any bad insulation right now with my full finger length in there. So you can see just how much insulative space is missing and how much air can get trapped in that area. A lot of room for frost and moisture buildup in there. It'd be nice to have that sealed all the way to the exterior once the new window gets put in. This window looks to be a perfect fit. You can see we're nice and tight on the J trim all the way around here. Doing a little caulking application to seal it out, but overall, this window is well suited to this opening. Just putting the finishing touches on our seal, getting our spray foam insulation into the top here. This is very valuable, going to improve the thermal performance and air sealing around the window. And if anyone knows anything about that, it's me, because last time I mastered spray foam insulation application. A little insulation install in my first try. So check out that video if you haven't. Can't stick my fingers in this one, but there's also no gap. So there's no insulation value around the frame, relying entirely on the wood frame here to provide an insulative resistance against the exterior elements. So that's going to perform quite poorly.
So big gap is bad and the small gap is bad.
Yeah, I'm not happy with any gaps really. No gaps make me happy. No, quality gap that is fully spray foam insulated, front and back, full frame depth. That's what we want. But if we got a small gap with bad insulation, then there's no bad insulation. It's fully compressed in there, anything that is in there. So that's going to reduce its performance. And in the base or the lower level, we saw the big gap, but with no bad insulation where I could stick, well, essentially my whole hand in before touching anything. So it's about having the right gap. For this window, we're going to see how long the opening stands without any window in place. It's important to think about because right now it is winter. So the longer this opening is out, starting that, the more heat and air that we're going to lose to this opening, same as if you left the door open. So we want to be mindful of how long this is open. We're doing one window at a time to make sure that we reduce the heating costs for today, because we already talked about with the homeowner how expensive heating this property is. So we're just going to see now how long until we get a new window in and this is sealed back up. This is a detail I noticed from down on the ground, is that looking up from the backyard at this window, I could see this exposed OSB on the exterior face here. So any side wind driven rain is going to cause damage. And you see there's a little bit of flaking off here, some moisture staining on the edges where water's getting in. There's a metal flashing on the other side here. So that's coming up, but it's not quite meeting the top of this windowsill. So what's going to be nice is when that 3M comes in, get it lapped over top of this metal flashing, create a continuous seal, have good positive lapping. That's going to prevent any side wind-driven rain from getting in and damaging our exterior sheathing. And that'll be a nice detail to have cleaned up because right now that's just entirely exposed to the weather. So we're just over 11 minutes now, and we got a new window back up and in place of the old one. We've been standing here doing nothing, just staring at the opening the whole time. But in those 11 minutes, these guys have cleaned up the frame, cut the drywall, vacuumed everything, applied the 3M membrane, and then we had to haul the big window out of the truck, come load it up the ladder, get guys in to come put this in place. So it's a lot that happened in those 11 minutes. These guys are working fast. It's not just the time lapse. And that's going to continue as we finish to seal this one up. So quick work. And this is probably one of the longer times that we'll see a window opening, just because it's bigger. It's on the second floor. Got to climb up a ladder. Trust me, the lower level ones, these guys are in and out even faster. Have another look here at the wood frame on these old windows. Now, the reason you want to understand how can I best equate that these are a poor thermal performer is that if you look at high performance buildings, we do exterior insulation wrap around the entire exterior building envelope. And the big reason for that is to minimize thermal bridging. So that's a break in the thermal barrier that allows for a temperature gradient to happen more quickly than it does when we have good insulation. And we do that specifically because in Canada, Alberta, Calgary, where we are, most of our framing and building development is done with wood studs. So every one of those studs on an exterior wall creates a thermal bridge. So when you go and you add wood framing in the form of a window, this is another thermal bridge that is being created and has to get accounted for otherwise. When we move to vinyl windows, we don't have that same thermal bridging anymore. It has, as we've seen with Ecoline, the air chambers, the spray foam insulation that is going to prevent that thermal bridging and make that a better thermal barrier. But on these old windows, it's the same as just having, series of studs. So it's an area that we can look to improve. Probably not going to start wrapping all of these old buildings in exterior rigid insulation, but at least we can start by tackling windows. just down on the lower level, looking at basement windows. And if we needed to have an egress access from here that included the window, we would be impeded by a number of obstructions. So one, we have safety bars, good for security, keeping someone out, but not good for you in case of an emergency when you need to escape. So modern building code standards require that you don't need any specialty keys, knowledge, or tools to open an egress window. So this would not pass modern standards because I either need to unscrew, understand how these pins come apart, and understand how this bar comes off to get that out of the way first in a high stress fire related event. Then I have to get up to this window. So I gotta clamber up the wall, get up there, open it, S my way into this window well. It's very shallow. So again, modern standards, I think 2'6" you're looking at of depth in your window well to allow you to escape. And then we have a grate on top, which is fine. It should just lift up and get out of the way. But in this case, given such a compressed area that we're trying to squeeze out of, that's just going to be another obstruction that impedes me from escaping from this level. So not what we're looking for in an egress situation. So if you're walking down the side of this building, it's late, it's dark at night, you don't have light on, that's where having a grate on top of your window well is valuable, because we don't want to step and fall into a hole. Not that I might fall in because it's pretty skinny as is, but in this case, this grate just comes right off. It's not on hinges or anything. So looking back at our egress situation, you have to push and pop this out, and it's fairly heavy. It's a solid piece of steel, meant for walking on. And then you have to get into this or get out of this little crevice somehow. So I gotta get out that window, squeeze my butt through here, which I can't squeeze my butt down. I'm sitting here fully, and try to escape out of this. So just think of the body position that I would have to be in to get out of this window and not have flames coming up, eating my bottom alive. So just some things to consider when you're looking at egress situations and egress windows.
Put the back on the place.
No. Look at this removal technique. Just got it held out on the forearms there, sliding down, full contact with the ladder the whole way. That is smooth. Experts. Whew. Look at this fresh new window in style, complete with casing. And in this case, the homeowner opted for wood. Ecoline does offer vinyl trims as an option, but it's just how you want to go about finishing the look. So this is it. This is their new window right at the front of the house, looking over the porch, keeping an eye on the streetscape, making sure nobody comes on your lawn. Nice window to wrap up today at Ecoline. I'm off for the day, but these guys are not. They're going to stick around. We're doing a full replacement on this home. So that is all the windows, including the basement, as well as the 3 exterior doors. So we're going to be back filming tomorrow to get some of the final content so you can see the before and afters and get that finished product. And it'll be really exciting when this is all done. It's a beautiful home. The homeowners are doing some other renovations in the house, so it's nice to see that they opted for professional installation on windows and doors. It's a critical area of the home, protects the home. It's an area that I would always opt for professionals to assist with those installs. And in this case, they went with Ecoline, and they're trusted, and we believe that they are in very good hands.